All right, guys, this is Zach with Football Scoop here, talking with Scott about his trip to Lubbock last week to visit with the Texas Tech staff. He was telling me some stories, so we decided to turn the recorder on and get this stuff on film. So, Scott, give me an overall impression of your trip to Lubbock. I know everyone has their opinions of it. What were yours?
You know, I was pretty impressed. I hadn't been to Lubbock in a couple of years. Last time I was there, I really didn't spend any time with football. I kind of flew into town and flew out and just drove by TTU. I think Lubbock, I mean, it's 5 hours past Dallas, so it's kind of out there. But the town itself is great. It's far bigger than I realized it was. I think some guys at Texas Tech told me 250,000 people. A couple of locals were tweeting back at me that it's more like 350,000 people. The area right around campus is really nice and really developed. It's come a long way. Personally, I think it's a great college town. I think I can understand, as Cliff and the guys said to me, if we get recruits here, they don't want to leave. They see it and they're wowed and they're blown away by how nice Lubbock is. And I get that. It's come a long way.
What was the overall vibe you got from the staff?
High energy. It's a very young staff. I'd say Cliff is under 35, might be 33, 34, something like that. Most of the guys are in that age bracket. Wallerstedt might be a little bit older, but Jenks a little bit older. But in general, it's a very young staff. A lot of those guys played there from the area. They're there because they want to be there. You talk to Mike Smith. Mike Smith was with the Jets. Mike played at Texas Tech. And then backed up Ray Lewis and those guys with the Ravens for a number of years. Contributed mightily on special teams, I might add. Anyway, he goes up to the Jets. He played under Rex Ryan. Rex was his coach for the Ravens, and then Rex offers him a job at the Jets. So he's coaching for the Jets. Cliff gets the job, offers him the opportunity back at Texas Tech. He comes down there. Rex Ryan gets on a plane, flies to Lubbock, offers to double his salary to bring him back to the Jets. He says, this is where my family, my wife's family, this is where we want to be. A small child, this is perfect opportunity for me. And, those guys, they love being there. The kids, the players love hanging out with them. It's a very good vibe in the building. It really is.
How much time did you get to spend with Cliff, and what was that like?
So I was there 2 days, and, I don't want to say fly on the wall, but, they had their regular day. I sat in on their staff meetings and, the offensive meetings. Cliff participates. Obviously he runs those. And then the team meetings and the quarterbacks meetings, I sat in on all those. Cliff and I had dinner one night. I got to tell you, I'm impressed with Cliff Kingsbury. Obviously I've known him before, and he's won our offensive coordinator of the year twice. But he's an extremely driven young guy, knows what he wants to do with his program, has a great plan, very competitive. Cliff's the first guy in the building. He gets there at 4 a.m, every morning. He's the first guy there. Gets his workout in before most of the other guys get there, and he needles them. And I like Cliff a lot. I'm very impressed with Cliff. I think he has a huge future in Lubbock, I'm impressed.
What kind of interaction does the staff have with the players?
Very good, very young, very fun, very upbeat. There's a lot of teaching that goes on, but it's it's not the 60-year-old guys talking down to the 18-year-old guys. It's guys who have been there. They played there. They know exactly what to tell these guys to expect. They're hard on them, but they make it fun. And I think the kids enjoy being in the building. Literally, you sit in Cliff's meeting room with the quarterbacks. They start off with Cliff asks them for a YouTube video of the day, or Cliff has some suggestions. Did you see this stuff? There's a lot of fun interaction. When they don't quote turn the hat backwards, but when they turn the hat backwards, it's time to talk ball and be serious. They get after it and they want to learn. Very respectful, but it's good interaction. I was pretty impressed with that.
You were telling me about the impression you got from the facilities. Can you expand on that?
Yeah. So football itself, the stadium has had a nice little facelift. The stadium looks great. I think the stadium's probably wild when it's packed. I know they were pretty excited administration to come over and give them an update. They've sold the most season tickets in school history. So they're pretty excited about that. I think the stadium's probably wild. It's windy. It's fun. Day-to-day facilities are on par with a lot of other places. It's not the Taj Mahal, perhaps. A couple of the guys says, we don't have an indoor, and some people like to use that to negative recruit against us. I'm like, how many days do you need an indoor, at Texas Tech? You don't need an indoor. I don't think players are coming there for an indoor. I mean, that's kind of silly. If a player decides not to go to Texas Tech because they don't have an indoor, he's not a player Texas Tech wants. They want big, mean nasties up front, on offensive line, defensive line. They get great looks at all the skill players. If you are a skill player, you want to have great college experience, have the opportunity to go to the league, Texas Tech presents everything you need. They got the fun uniforms, the fun staff, great day-to-day vibe. The facilities are completely acceptable, and I think they want to continue to improve them, just like everybody else is, because everybody else is making them, investing significantly, but they're completely fine.
All right, I know you're not really into projections, but we're going to do it anyways. How do you think they shape up for 2014?
I haven't really looked at the schedule. I know, the guys mentioned they have Arkansas at home. Actually, they have a great home schedule. I think they've got. I don't even want to go to the list, but they've got a very strong home schedule. They've got a big nationally televised game with Oklahoma State. I don't know about wins and losses. I'm very bullish on the future of Texas Tech football. I think they will win more games than last year. I'll tell you, I don't know how relevant it is what I think. I'll tell you the coaching staff, and starting with Cliff, they believe they're going to have a big year. They think they're going to, I don't want to say shock the world, but they have the opportunity to win a lot more than people think. And if they do that, if they have that year they think they were going to have, I can only imagine, the excitement, the recruits they're going to get the next year, and the foundation they will have laid. And it's, I think the next, 5 years, the visible future for Texas Tech football is very strong.
So you got some pretty positive reviews of Tech and Lubbock, but you're not selling the soap here. If you had a bad trip or a bad time, you would tell us, right?
I really would. I wouldn't. Absolutely, I would. I wouldn't come on here and make this kind of video about it. I might write a little article on a nice time, that kind of thing. I really was. I was. The staff, they're just very genuine guys. It started, so Kenny Bell, who is the chief of staff there, who was with Cliff at Houston and at Texas A&M. He's a very young guy, if I had to guess. He's mid-20s. He's chief of staff. He's a very organized young guy. He kind of, he picked me up from the airport and talked me through the process and helped me get to know a couple of coaches better. It starts with Kenny and starts with Cliff. It's a very likable place. The kids love it. I had a chance to talk with a couple of players, and very respectful, very upbeat. They look right. I watched film of practice the day before. They got speed, man. They got a lot of speed. They've got some bigs, but they got some more bigs that are coming in. Some JUCO guys that are coming in, I guess, in June, and. If those guys show up like they think they're going to show up, adding Darren Cheverini, Chev, is a nice touch. Cliff lost a receivers coach. Rather than just adding a receivers coach, he added somebody with some special teams punch and some background and some JC experience out in California as well. Filled some holes, not necessarily holes in the staff, but some holes in the program, and just made the program better, I think. So I really like it. I think he's got a good staff, good kids. As he gets more kids, the kids they want, the type of kid they want, I think, I'm very bullish on Texas Tech football.
All right, Scott, I know you've got some more trips to some more schools coming up here in the next weeks and months, so we look forward to hearing tales from the road.
You got it, bud. Thanks.